This page is the cover of N64 Pro, declaring itself the world's biggest N64 mag, no less. Right up top you're getting a free mini-mag with posters and a buyer's guide, which is always a bonus, isn't it? The main feature is a world-exclusive look at LEGO Racers. Remember building your own kart piece by piece? Brilliant! They're also talking about some classics like Vigilante 8, and look, there's that groovy character from it, gun at the ready. Midas along with Monaco Grand Prix, Snowboard Kids 2, WCW Nitro, and the fantastic Beetle Adventure Racing. Plus, they've got a complete guide for Mario Party, which I'm sure caused many a friendship to strain. And you could win inflatable Godzillas. Proper late 90s N64 magazine action right here, promising reviews and guides for some top titles. The magazine page features Beetle Adventure Racing prominently, showcasing bright-colored new Beetles and psychedelic artwork. A tagline promises, over-the-top race action. The right side highlights the magazine as the official, world's biggest N64 mag, and previews the LEGO Racers game. The Lads section includes nostalgic reminiscing about childhood toys, with humorous anecdotes. The 8 Commandments outlines the magazine's editorial principles, emphasizing honesty, news coverage, cheat hunting, and reader feedback. The page is packed with racing action, game previews, and magazine promises. This page kicks off with the classic N64 Pro masthead, telling you it's issue 20 from Easter 1999. It's absolutely bursting with content, laid out like a visual feast. You've got the main contents listing, covering everything from news and coming soon to leagues, and the essential tips, codes and cheats. Then there's the reviews section, promising a look at Vigilante 8, Monaco Grand Prix, Snowboard Kids 2, WCW Nitro, and Beetle Adventure Racing. Some cracking stuff in there. They're shouting about free posters, a win section offering a day out at Thorpe Park and Godzilla goodies, and promising a big fat N64 cheat book. Plus a free gaming snack which is just classic N64 Pro cheek. There's a dedicated guide to Mario Party which sounds vital for surviving those minigames. Highlight features include tips, lending a hand with Glover, praise be, the big cover story on LEGO Racers, Rocket Racer is coming, and a blueprint section digging into Resident Evil 64 and A Bug's Life. You even get a mention of the Pro Crew, reader reviews, and the mighty database claiming to cover every game ever. Bold claim that. They also point you to the new Game Boy Color section, which is a nice touch. Loads to dig into here. This issue's news section features a humorous story about a dog obsessed with Lego kennels. Highlights include a review of Vigilante 8, page 24, a Mario Party survival guide, page 47, and a glowing review of LEGO Racers, a heaven for Mario Kart fans, on page 9. The feature details the game's customizable LEGO vehicle building, which affects performance, and includes power-ups and classic LEGO tracks. The issue also showcases the official UK charts, with South Park 64 at number 1, N64 Pro favorites, and a chart prediction contest for a voucher. Nintendo's next console, the N2000, is set for an October 2000 launch, promising 128-bit power and impressive graphical capabilities. A multiplayer spin-off, Turok Arena, will utilize the Turok 2 engine. Resident Evil 64, a port of Resident Evil 2, is also on the way for the N64, potentially outperforming the PlayStation version by eliminating loading screens. Lode Runner is getting a 64-bit update, offering a 3D platforming experience. Finally, readers can win Godzilla figures and Turok 2 dioramas via contests. The issue is packed with exciting gaming news and previews. This page is a full-page blast for FIFA 99 on the N64. It features a big shot of a football player looking like he's about to pull off something spectacular, with the rather arrogant declaration, "Obey my feet." It's all about bringing European club football to your console, apparently covering all the leagues and cups, which is a pretty big claim for a game back then. You get a glimpse of the game itself in a few small screenshots, and see the box art, just to make sure you know what you're looking for when you hit the shops. EA Sports, flexing their footy sim muscles here. This page is a real mixed bag. On the left you've got the N64 Pro masthead leading into bits like news, reviewed, and cracked open. The main focus here seems to be on bugging out, giving us a look at the A Bug's Life game on 64. It features Flick the Ant and that menacing grasshopper character, promising an adventure through a 3D environment packed with insects. The review mentions it's based on the Disney film but ups the ante from the PSX version, sounding pretty promising with good visuals and sound, apparently reminding the reviewer of Adam and the Ants. There's also a funny snippet about the huge trouser snake, focusing on the Pokemon craze taking over, featuring Pikachu and a Game Boy. Over on the right, it's all about the readers and winning. You get a taste of the readers' reviews section, highlighting a rather unsettling picture of a young reviewer. The accompanying text is quite amusingly blunt about their appearance. The big draw is the win section, offering a chance to bag tickets for a crazy day at Thorpe Park to experience their Pirates 4D attraction. To enter, you need to tackle the word search puzzle, finding N64 Pro and Thorpe Park related terms. Then you just fill in your details on the little form and send it off. Looks like a cracking prize. This page is a real mixed bag. On the left, they're flogging a how to win at tips book for a $5. Covers all the big N64 hitters like Banjo-Kazooie, Mario Kart 64, GoldenEye. Basically, the absolute must-haves. Sounds like it's packed with hints and screenshots. Over 200 pages apparently, claiming to sort out all your gaming problems. Looks like a decent little guide if you were stuck. Then smack in the middle, there's a competition to find Scoop. This poor chap's gone adrift in space somewhere in the magazine, apparently in the reviews section. Find him, fill in the form, and you could win 2 new games. A classic magazine hunt. Those were always fun. Doyun. Over on the right, it's all about getting those cheats and tips on demand. You've got a premium rate phone line for instant help. 60p a minute. Blimey. Better hope you didn't need too much help. They've got it for N64, PlayStation, and PC, covering loads of games from Aero Fighters to Zelda. And get this, they've even got a faxback service for cheats. Imagine getting your GoldenEye secrets delivered by fax machine. Absolutely mad, but hey, whatever worked back then. They call it Issue 1 of Fax Cheats and Tips. Sounds vital. Proper blasts from the past, all about getting the edge back before the internet was king. This page is Scoop's own personal art gallery, showcasing what he calls a priceless collection of paw prints. Our furry art critic, Scoop, reckons he's only exhibiting the absolute snazziest screenshots, telling all those famous painters to take a hike because their stuff just isn't up to scratch. We've got a look at Pokemon Snap, which sounds like a cracking bit of fun running around snapping photos of everyone's favorite critters. Looks like Pikachu's ready for his close-up. Then there's the pint-sized Racing of Revolt, a remote control car game that apparently looks anything but revolting, getting everyone excited. Next up is Road Rash, which they're boldly claiming could be the best entry in the series yet. Just don't mention other consoles' graphics. World Driver Championship is also featured, with graphics so good they're joking you might need a wipe-clean screen. And finally, WWF Attitude. These aren't photos apparently, but the actual in-game visuals of the wrestling action. Looks like it's shaping up to be a knockout, definitely not for the faint-hearted. It's a nice spread of games coming down the line, promising some serious eye candy. 1999 promises a huge selection of video games, with a must-buy section highlighting Vigilante 8, a gun-toting shooter, and Beetle Adventure Racing. Forthcoming attractions include Perfect Dark, Rainbow Six, Harrier 2001, and Wild Metal Country. Resident Evil 64, though unannounced, is also anticipated. The page features a comprehensive release schedule encompassing various genres, including fighting games, races, RPGs, and sports titles, with previously mentioned games like Pokemon Snap and WWF Attitude. The sheer volume of releases indicates a busy year for gamers. This page kicks off with the N64 Pro Software House Leagues, where they rate the game publishers based on the quality of their releases. There are 2 leagues, the Premier League and Division 1, showing who's top of the pops and who's, well, trying their best. Nintendo, naturally, are leading the pack in the Premier League with a cracking number of top-rated games. There's also a fun section called the 64 Pro Reader Dream Team, where readers could suggest their ideal lineup of games as players. Names like GoldenEye, Legend of Zelda, and even Duke Nukem make the cut, showing what games people were really buzzing about back then. It's a neat idea to see how the community rated their favorites. Down the side, they explain the scoring system. Basically, games get points based on reviews, adding a league table spin to publisher performance. You can see screenshots scattered around, featuring classics like Super Smash Bros., Castlevania, and Mario Party, alongside others like All-Star Tennis and Virtual Pool. The Hall of Fame section gives a nod to Nintendo's strong performance, particularly mentioning Mario Party and Smash Bros. Smashing it. Looks like a good snapshot of the N64 scene at the time, celebrating the hits and ranking the big players. The next page kicks off the actual game reviews, building on the structure set out on the previous page with the league points. We get big features highlighted right at the top for Vigilante 8, Monaco Grand Prix, and Snowboard Kids 2, giving you a taste of the main course. Down below, the reviewers give their personal takes on the month's games, picking out favorites like Vigilante 8, Beetle Adventure Racing, and Monaco GP. It's always interesting to hear what sticks with the team. The scores section details their grading system, explaining what scores mean from the top-tier 90-plus games that are absolute must-buys to the bottom end you'd be best avoiding. They even mention the Sore Thumb Award for the truly great ones. Finally, the lowdown breaks down the review criteria, telling you exactly what they look at when scoring a game, from the visuals and sound, to how much fun you'll actually have playing it and how long it'll keep you hooked. This page is the perfect warm-up before diving into the full reviews themselves. A review of Vigilante 8 begins with a striking title and characters on a tricked-out car, setting the tone for over-the-top action. Comparing the game to Tarantino films like Jackie Brown and Pulp Fiction, the review promises high-octane violence and gunplay. Good guys are depicted as less than perfect, a welcomed element in this car combat game. The review highlights the game's N64 controller functions, special moves, like a beatbox shockwave, and emphasizes the stylish visuals, linking 70s style to character success. The game is further touted as a Sore Thumb Award winner, suggesting a distinctive, perhaps quirky, experience. This page continues the deep dive into Vigilante 8, showcasing the rest of the cast of characters, split between the heroes and villains, the true guys and dolls of car combat. You've got everyone from Houston 3, half-machine, all-woman, to the mysterious convoy, leader of the Vigilantes, and even old John Torque, looking slick in red and packing some serious heat, lamenting a missed opportunity. The review hammers home the absolute bonkers nature of the game, declaring that drive-by shootings are commonplace, and even the milk floats have gun turrets. Seriously, gunting milk floats tells you all you need to know, doesn't it? It talks about the game's surprisingly robust engine, the arcade physics that send cars flipping and bouncing, and the interactive levels spread across Arizona, Utah, and a Vegas-inspired city. Sounds like pure, unadulterated fun, tearing around causing chows. They even mention Activision gave the game a proper total overhaul for the N64, which is always good to hear. It's big, it's brash, and according to this it's got that funky Soul Brother vibe. Looks like a proper blast. This Vigilante 8 review praises the destructible environments, emphasizing fast-paced missions involving protecting or destroying targets. The game boasts dynamic explosions, a variety of weapons, including machine guns, missiles and cannons, and helpful tip-X-TRA hints. The diverse vehicle selection, including dune buggies, pickups, and jeeps with unique weapons, is highlighted. Multiplayer modes, including deathmatch variants, promise a chaotic experience for up to 4 players. The next page dives right back into the glorious chows of Vigilante 8, picking up where the review left off. It shows off some of the weapons. You've got your basic machine gun, unlimited ammo cracking stuff, those agile interceptor missiles, bullseye rockets, a bit limited mind, the lobbed sky hammer mortar, the bruiser cannon that spins right round, and the classic roadkill mines dropped out the back. Then bam! A massive 92% score hits you. The Y section nails it, calling it a spaced-out stock car shoot-'em-up, with wicked wheels, tonking tunes and an awesome arsenal of weaponry. It's a badass blast with more boogie than a night at your local disco, apparently. Sounds about right. The breakdown gives it solid marks across the board. Graphics get an 8/10 despite some fogging, sound a decent 7/10, but gameplay and lastability both bag a corking 9/10. Can't argue with that, it was mad multiplayer fun. They even suggest it's worth trying if you like Mario Kart 64, which is a fair comparison if you swapped go-karts for heavily armed muscle cars. The other views from the chaps confirm the verdict. Rip-roaring, monster multiplayer pile-up, funked-up PC soundtrack, proper praise all round. Over on the right, there's a massive gameplay advert listing all sorts of N64 consoles, games and accessories, with prices the usual suspects for stocking up on plastic gold. This page throws you headfirst into the glamour and chows of the Monaco Grand Prix, albeit the simulated version in racing simulation. It's all about the insanity of 4-1 cars tearing through city streets once a year, turning Monte Carlo into a temporary high-speed demolition derby. The reviewer, Mark, looking rather dapper in his caricature, seems to find the whole concept slightly mad, referring to the drivers as bloody nutters and the cars as flimsy rocket cars driven by the recently escaped inhabitants of the local loony bin. Strong words indeed. He touches on the sheer difficulty, suggesting winning is tough when you can barely see over the steering wheel. You get a couple of screenshots showing the grid start and some on-track action, giving you a taste of the visuals. There's also a handy Tip XTRA box, offering a vital piece of advice for winning any F1 game. Master the art of braking early before corners. Wise words for anyone attempting this notoriously tricky track. It looks like a serious, if slightly sarcastic, look at the challenge of virtual F1 in Monaco. The racing simulation, Monaco Grand Prix review for the N64 highlights a lack of official licensing, featuring fictional car manufacturers. The game utilizes a familiar N64 controller layout. The Monaco circuit is praised for its evocative atmosphere, drawing comparisons to Bond films. The game includes all 16 World Grand Prix tracks. Gameplay offers arcade and simulation modes, with the simulation mode potentially challenging for newcomers. Graphics are described as detailed but occasionally blurry, while handling is considered smooth. Pit stops are emphasized, with mastering them crucial for victory. Overall, the review suggests a solid, though slightly imperfect, F1 experience for the N64. This page continues the review of racing simulation, Monaco Grand Prix, giving it a solid 84%. The review explains why, praising its speed, and the silky smooth handling that really makes you feel like you're tearing around the track. Shame about the blurry graphics though, looks like the pit crew smeared grease on your helmet. Tatum. It breaks down the scores, rating the graphics and sound pretty well, but the gameplay and lastability get top marks, especially for the career mode, which takes you from the back markers to pole position. There's a map showing the famous Monaco circuit corners, matched with screenshots so you know where you're going, and it shows off the different camera views you can use. Warrington Norcroute. The review highlights that while it's not as unforgivingly realistic as F1 World Grand Prix, which is mentioned again, you can try that one if you're a masochist who loves concrete walls, Monaco GP is faster and arguably more fun, making it easier to jump into. The car pictured even has a funny speech bubble about banana growing sponsors insisting on the color. You also get a look at the weather effects, showing the track dry and wet. Overall, it's a well-regarded racer, despite the graphical blur and fictional teams. A review of Snowboard Kids 2 focuses on whether it's a worthy sequel. The reviewer warns of various dangers, including the other races. The game plays like Mario Kart on snow, with varied courses, power-ups, and a ski lift. The game closely follows the formula of the first game, with familiar characters like Jam Kemimund, and new additions. Controls are mapped to an N64 controller. Screenshots show action-packed races and colorful characters. Successfully performing stunts earns cash for power-ups and improves winning chances, making it an arcade racer for the slopes. This page carries on with the Snowboard Kids 2 review, diving into some of the daft modes and power-ups on offer. We've got a look at the paper chase mode, which sounds exactly like it is on the tin, racing down the slopes trying to deliver papers against the clock and your mates. Looks like it gets pretty hectic trying to hit those drop-off points. Then there's the kids stuff section, showcasing the various weapons and gags you can deploy. Forget your standard speed boosts. You've got the ability to turn opponents into useless snowmen, go invisible, or just smack someone over the head with a frying pan. It's all part of the chaotic, Mario Kart-esque fun that was mentioned previously. The review text highlights the bizarre nature of some tracks, like one that's partly underwater, or another set amongst oversized household items. It reinforces the idea that this is an over-the-top racer, full of jostling japes, and random events like getting hit on the bonce by a huge saucepan. The Goddamn Gundam section talks about the sheer randomness and variety of obstacles you face, from avalanches to robotic squirrels. It all adds up to a pretty unique, cartoony racing experience. This page finishes off the Snowboard Kids 2 review, and it looks like the verdict is in. We see the graphics, which the reviewer says are colorful, but maybe a touch behind the curve compared to the likes of Diddy Kong Racing or 1080. Apparently, more colorful than the Jamaican footy team on Carnival Day. Which is a bit of a dig, eh? There's a look at the hub area, a street where you can hit the shops to buy gear, or nip to school to practice tricks, which sounds like a nice touch. Plenty of screenshots show off the madcap racing and the trick mode action. The core takeaway is the score a respectable 76%. The review notes that while it's a laugh, much like the first, it hasn't moved on enough, especially with 1080 snowboarding having arrived and truly set the standard. If you missed the first and fancy a silly, Mario Kart-style racer on snow, it might be worth a punt, maybe secondhand, but don't expect a simulation or a massive leap forward. The breakdown gives scores for different elements, with the sound getting a bit of a hammering, bless it. The other lads chime in with their thoughts too, confirming it's fun, but perhaps a bit lightweight compared to the best on the console. This page dives headfirst into the world of WCW Nitro on the N64, and judging by the title, there'll be no exploding of this nitro. Someone forgot to light the fuse. It seems like the reviewer, James, isn't exactly blown away. We've got a look at the game in action through a sequence of numbered screenshots, showing what appears to be Bret Hitman Hart wrestling Hulk Hogan, detailing some of the moves with little text bubbles explaining the action. It's described as another set of animated snarlers, suggesting it might be a bit basic. The main quote jumps out, stating that what appears to be a healthy portion of rumble pie turns out to be a limp pastry taster. That pretty much sums up the reviewer's feelings right there. Sounds like it promises much but doesn't deliver. There's a diagram of the N64 controller showing how the buttons control the wrestlers and special moves. A tip XTRA gives advice on showboating and being aware of your opponent's buddies. The spandex hex section seems to carry on the critical tone about the game's presentation and perhaps its limitations, even mentioning Michael Jackson and Buster Douglas for some reason. Overall, despite featuring big names like Hogan and the Hitman, and perhaps looking visually okay from the screenshots, this sounds like a wrestling game that's a bit flat and lacking the punch you'd hope for. This page is a bit of a split personality, isn't it? On the left we've got some chap or chapette showing off a poppet's top. Looks like it's meant to be some sort of fashion thing, not entirely sure why it's sharing space with gaming, but there you go. Top, indeed. But the main event here is clearly the right side. A juicy free Mario Party guide minimag pullout. Mario Party on the N64, good times, and maybe a few frayed friendships. This is presented as a blagger's guide, which sounds promisingly unofficial, and perhaps a bit cheeky. The artwork is classic Nintendo 64 era, bright and colourful, featuring Luigi looking excited amongst piles of coins, Princess Peach looking as regal as ever, and the superstar floating about. The weirdest addition, though, has to be that green alien chap wearing a party hat and blowing a whistle, apparently desperate to get into the party and promising, "I won't cause any bother, honest." Right then, mate, we'll see about that. This guide seems like a fun little bonus packed with tips for the game, though you'd hope it's a bit more useful than just random aliens promising good behavior. It's branded with the N64 Pro logo at the bottom, cementing its place in the magazine. This page is the core of that mini-guide pullout we glimpsed last time, branded loud and proud as the Cheat Zone Mario Party. It's essentially giving you the lowdown on the game, starting with the fact you can pick from the usual suspects: Mario, Luigi, Peach, DK, Wario, and Yoshi. The guide cheekily points out there's no real difference between them, so just pick your favorite, or perhaps the one whose voice doesn't make you want to lob the controller at the TV after an hour. A subtle dig at Peaches, perhaps? Quite right. It mentions the supporting cast too. Koopa Troopa is like the Monopoly Go Square, dishing out coins as you pass. Bowser's up to his usual troublemaking antics, and good old Toad is the chap handing out those all-important stars. We see glimpses of a few boards, including Peach's birthday cake, which sounds like it can get a bit chow-tatic with players buying things and retaliating, and Dorke's Jungle Adventure, apparently full of tricks and traps and locked doors you have to pay to get past. The supposed object is to become the ultimate superstar by helping people, which frankly sounds like a load of old waffle for a game designed to make you despise your friends. It looks like a decent overview of the game, and some of its boards though. This page dives into the meat of Mario Party, detailing some of the specific boards you'll be battling it out on, and giving some essential pointers. First up is Yoshi's Tropical Island, where those pesky blue thwomps demand coins, and apparently, paying Koopa Troopa eventually becomes pointless when stars are on offer. Then there's Luigi's Engine Room, which sounds like a proper maze with doors that shift every turn. The advice is clear: use the map constantly, and learn the warp pipes. Mario's Rainbow Castle is a more linear affair, but you've got to keep an eye on whether Bowser or Toad is waiting at the end. Finally, Wario's Battle Canyon is described as a tough board with cannons, where planning is futile. Just try to land after the cannon if possible. Below the board descriptions are some general playing tips. Don't stress about turn order, apparently. Stealing coins with Boo. Aim for players near Toad who have plenty. Using the map is stressed as crucial for navigating tricky boards and keeping tabs on opponents. Choosing directions needs careful thought, not just picking the shortest route. There's a big quote pushing Minigame Island as the ultimate practice ground, and a tip to always read the instructions before tackling a new minigame, using the on-screen demo. It's all solid advice for anyone looking to dominate the competition. Mario Party's minigames are the core, with roughly 50 tests of skill, reaction, memory, and luck. Many are 4-player games, like Facelift, adjusting Bowser's face, Crazy Cutters, accurately cutting Bowser's face, and Hot Bow Bomb, classic hot potato. Musical Mushroom requires timing. Coin Clock Blitz is a simple coin grab, and Skateboard Scamper, typo for stamper, involves fast movement. Balloon Burst advises a steady pace, while Box Mountain Mayhem suggests less jumping and avoiding crowds for coin success. This text provides strategy tips for winning various minigames in Mario Party. Platform Peril requires quick, direct jumps. Mushroom Mix-Up demands fast reactions and anticipating opponents. Grab Bag involves strategic positioning. Treasure Divers emphasizes efficient treasure collection. Bumper Balls calls for strategic maneuvering. Tipsy Turny involves edge clearing and shell timing. Mario Bandstand necessitates rhythm-based button presses. Castaways prioritizes timing and distance, and Bombs Away advises staying centered and avoiding large jumps. Many of these tips revolve around reacting to the actions of opponents and exploiting opportunities to gain an advantage. A tipsy alien character is also noted. Fi. This page is all about getting the upper hand in more of Mario Party's minigames. Building on what we looked at before, we've got the lowdown on several here. For Hammer Drop, the key seems to be avoiding the initial scramble and keeping an eye on where those hammers are dropping from their shadows. Shy Guy says claims you can win every time just by watching the flag and its corresponding button, but watch out for the fakes. Team games like Keep Away and Running of the Bulb suggest sticking together, protecting whoever has the objective, and maybe finding a safe spot near the screen edge. Hot Rope Jump is a pure timing test. Hit A at the right moment, or face the flames. Simple as that. Buried Treasure advises letting the others do the initial digging while you position yourself strategically, then sprint for the spot when the arrows appear. And Slot Car Derby is apparently less about steering and more about managing your speed on the straights and corners. Don't burn out. Looks like Toad has some strong feelings about these tips too, holding up a sign with a rather evangelical message. This article provides tips for winning 1 vs 3 three-player games in Mario Party. Tug of War involves rapidly rotating the control stick. Coin Shower Flower requires staying near the center. Paddle Battle advises paddling quickly and staying away from the shore. Pipe Maze suggests following the treasure chest's path. Bowl Over recommends aiming for the left side for bouncing. Tightrope Treachery emphasizes bomb placement and a steady hand. Bash and Cash strategies differ based on player roles. Piranha's Pursuit involves quick reactions and watching for logs. Finally, Coin Block Bash suggests letting others clear opponents and collecting coins. Overall, the tips are focused on specific game mechanics and player roles to gain an advantage. This guide details various Mario Party modes. Two-player games include Hankar Havoc, rhythm-based cornering, Deep Sea Divers, strategic treasure retrieval, Desert Dash, simple tapping, avoid overconfidence, and Bobsled Run, teamwork and strategic cutting off opponents. Single-player games feature the Crane Game, Arcade Grabber, Memory Match, Luck-based matching, Knock Block Tower, avoiding grey blocks, Limbo Dance, precise jumping, and Slot Machine, luck and quick reactions. Classic Mario characters are present in the screenshots. This cheat zone page provides tactical tips for winning tricky Mario Party minigames. For Pedal Power, master the spinning technique. Whack-a-Plant players should bounce between heads. Shell Game requires focusing on the shell, and perhaps tracing it. Ghost Guess involves looking for larger, more visible shadows. Ground Pound players should focus on one side of the board. Teetering Towers demands careful observation of the tower's sequence. The page also includes advertisements for various game-related items. Jory. This page dives into the world of WCW Nitro on the N64. The review, cheekily titled Frankly Spanking, gives the game a score of 62%, though notes a 2-point penalty, leaving it at 60%. It highlights some of the action with sequential screenshots, showing Hollywood Hogan getting put through the ringer by Scott Steiner, with a rather nasty-looking move. The text points out that while the game features plenty of the big names, like Hogan, the Steiners, Nash, Hall, and others seen in the various screenshots scattered around, the core gameplay feels a bit sluggish and the controls can be frustratingly slow to respond. The camera apparently doesn't help matters either, sometimes leaving you wrestling with it more than your opponent, which sounds like a total pain. There's a funny section called Swan Break about the game crashing and a useful tip XTRA, warning about the dangers of mistiming top turnbuckle moves. Apparently you'll just headbutt the apron. Classic. The breakdown scores reflect the mixed feelings, with gameplay and last ability getting average marks, while the sound gets a rather harsh rating. Seems like the general consensus from the other views section is also leaning towards disappointing. A real shame, had potential. Mark's review hails Beetle Adventure Racing for the N64 as a brilliant, potentially fastest racer. Stunning graphics, packed with detail and dynamic elements like dragons and a T-Rex, are praised. Massive tracks, each with multiple routes and shortcuts, take up to 15 minutes to complete. The game boasts 6 unique Beetle car types, each with varying strengths, offering diverse gameplay. Despite occasional black borders, the review highlights smooth performance and impressive visuals, earning it a Sore Thumb award. A tip XTRA guides players on effective nitro use. The next page confirms the score for Beetle Adventure, racing a well-deserved 93%. As Mark puts it in the Y, it's an absolute treat with graphics sweeter than pop stars and tracks bigger than a beached whale, offering replayability for months. The breakdown solidifies this with top marks. Graphics 9/10, sound 8/10, gameplay 9/10, and lastability a huge 9/10 thanks to those tracks and tons of shortcuts. This page really shows off those storming shortcuts, like racing a train, smashing pumpkins, dealing with a dragon, or avoiding a ship's cannon. It also highlights A Bug's Life, detailing the 6 massive tracks stuffed with these secrets, mentioning places like Coventry Cove and Wicked Woods. The review text continues, noting how fantastic the handling feels, almost like a real car, even if sticking to just the Beetle is a minor point. Plus, there's a handy tip XTRA, revealing a hidden cheat for no radar on the first track. Seems like everyone else agrees too, calling it the best N64 racer and an absolute dream. This page dives straight into the second part of Tipex's handy guide for the N64 classic. Glover, the Cheat Zone crew are back, with the little green alien confirming his handy guide continues. Reckon he's got more than just 4 gloves worth of tips this time. And look, that spotted green fella thinks spots are slimming. If only it were that easy, eh? Anyway, the real meat here is the walkthrough for Pirates Level 2 and Level 3. Level 2 is all about navigating those tricky pirate tree houses, telling you exactly how to deal with the lobsters and dibbers, and how to get all the garibs without falling off those wobbly planks. It even points out a few hidden extras, and a shortcut past the conveyor belt and bouncy platforms, which is proper handy as those bits could be a nightmare. Level 3 moves to the pirates' town, up on the cliffs. The guide walks you through getting past the spinning barrels, finding your way through the houses, and using the ball effectively to trigger switches and navigate the terrain. There are helpful maps for both levels, numbered to match the steps in the guide, and a key to explain all the symbols like the start/end points, and the ball transformations. Cracking stuff if you were stuck on these levels back in the day. This page continues the Glover walkthrough from the Cheat Zone crew, leaving behind the pirate tree houses and heading for the bright lights of the fairground. Carnival Level 1 looks like a right laugh, guiding you through all the wacky attractions like the performing chicken chuck, watch out he's got a temper, and avoiding the spikes bugle. It tells you how to navigate the ramps, rollers and trampolines, to grab those all-important garibs and find the exit. Then it's on to Carnival Level 2, which ramps up the challenge with tilting platforms and those tricky monorail carts. The guide walks you through getting past all that, using pachinko games to your advantage and bouncing your way to the end. There's also a section covering the pirates boss level, explaining exactly how to handle those pesky monkeys and finally beat them to unlock the exit. And for those sneaky extra lives and garibs, the secrets section reveals hidden lifts and cracked walls, leading to bonus areas guarded by Chester, the sticky fingers power-up included. Looks like the Cheat Zone has you covered for finishing off the pirates world and cracking the carnival. This page continues our journey through Glover with the Cheat Zone crew, taking us deeper into the madness of the carnival and onto the chilling world of prehistoric. First up is Carnival Level 3, which looks like a proper fairground romp. The guide walks you through navigating rotating platforms, bouncing up crooked stairs, and rolling the ball through spinning tubes. It even covers using the frog spell on that Bova character. Always good for a laugh seeing those bad guys turned into frogs. There are secrets hidden throughout, offering extra lives and garibs for those willing to explore. Then it's a frosty leap into prehistoric Level 1. You start in an icy lair, learning to free the ball from an ice cube. A satisfying fist slam that. The walkthrough covers dealing with the tricky snowball mechanic, crossing ice bridges, watch your speed, and even facing off against the little treks. It sounds like a real test of platforming skill, especially with those slippery slopes. Don't forget the secrets here either. Smashing icicles and crumbling snowy ledges reveal bonuses. Finally, they tackle the carnival boss. Sounds like a mad clown throwing custard pies. The guide tells you how to hit the ball targets and ultimately deliver the final blow. Looks like the cheat zone has you covered all the way to the end of these worlds. This page details cheat codes for various N64 games. Snowboard Kids. 2 lets players unlock special boards with effects like invisibility. Wipeout 64 cheats offer unlimited weapons, energy and time through controller button combinations. ISS 98's cheat involves a fast button mash for penalty dives. Star Wars. Rogue Squadron includes cheats for hidden bonuses and infinite lives, unlocking all levels, and even transforming your ship. This page dives deep into Hyrule, offering up a fountain of knowledge. See what they did there? It's all about Zelda, the Ocarina of Time here, helping out us poor sods still trying to crack every secret. First up, a cracking tip on how to get more than the standard 4 bottles, which is a game changer. Even if there are a couple of downsides mentioned, like the extra one not reviving you if you peg it. There's a whole step-by-step guide to getting the bigger on sword, and then turning the claim check into a 5th bottle. Brilliant! Then there's a list, and quite a long one, detailing the location of every single heart piece in the game, helpfully noting whether you need to be young or adult Link to snag it. Very handy indeed if you're trying to max out your health. They also cover some daft bits of fun you can have, with the gossip stones, finding free fairies, and even how to use weapons while riding Epona, which sounds chow-retic but potentially useful. Finishing off, there's a quick tip on scoring some easy rupees, and the usual Tipex helpline details for sending in your own golden nuggets of wisdom. It's packed with useful stuff for any serious Linkster. This page is all about settling who's the best of the bunch, showcasing the Britain's top gamers, high scores submitted by readers. They've had an avalanche of entries, especially for 1080 degrees snowboarding, and they're laying down the challenge for folks to send in their best times and scores. It's packed with lists covering a whole heap of N64 classics like GoldenEye 007, Diddy Kong Racing, Banjo-Kazooie, Wave Race 64, and even Ocarina of Time gets a look in here with times for the horse race and archery. There are also charts for F1 World Grand Prix, F-Zero X, and Weetrix, showing who's top of the pops on various tracks and challenges. They've also got the Pro Arena section where specific challenge winners are highlighted. Seems like folks have been smashing times in games like GoldenEye, Wipeout 64, and Banjo-Kazooie. There's a gamers gallery showing off the mugshots of some of the top contenders, with one being crowned Gamer of the Month, and bagging a Pro Crew membership. Finally, a section explaining how you, yes you, can get your name and face in the magazine by sending in proof of your gaming prowess. This page is your gateway to the N64 Pro community, offering up the swap shop where you can ditch those dusty old games for something fresh. It's not just about trading though, there's also the shout-out section for a bit of banter, finding pen pals, or just getting something off your chest. You've got handy forms at the bottom to get your ad in the mag. Curious what everyone wants or dreads? Check out the wanted list featuring gems like Silicon Valley and Banjo-Kazooie, while the not wanted list highlights games like Sega Saturn titles and Mission Impossible. Ouch! The swap shop ads themselves are a treasure trove of readers, offering swaps and sales for all sorts of N64 goodies, from controllers and rumble packs to top titles like GoldenEye, Turok 2, and various FIFAs. Seems everyone's keen to get their hands on something new. Over in the shoutout, readers are declaring Clay Fighter better than Graystation Games, Brave Souls, and looking for pen pals to chat about gaming and football. There are also featured deals like the Swap of the Month, highlighting a Banjo-Kazooie trade, and the Blag of the Month showcasing a Sega Saturn console bundle. Someone's offloading their unwanted kit. Visually, the page pops with the Swap Shop logo, a cool shot of Sub-Zero. Because, why not? The spiky-haired character from Mischief Makers, box art for Banjo-Kazooie, and a picture of an N64 console. For £28, the Pro Crew offers a year of benefits. Members get the N64 Pro magazine early, a monthly fanzine, membership card, mystery gifts, exclusive cheats, competitions, and insider info. Each issue is discounted, plus a free limited edition t-shirt. Sign-up options include phone, mail, check/postal order/credit card, or direct debit, with the latter entering members in a monthly draw for a £50 Gamester steering wheel. Raymond promotes the offer. The You Reckon section features reader feedback, including passionate opinions about Noelle Edmonds and a bizarre Rumble Knickers game concept. Some letters are critical, even violent, while others praise the magazine's new design and ask for free items. Readers also inquire about game cartridges, controllers, and staff ages. Positive feedback for recent reviews of Zelda, Turok 2, South Park, and Star Wars also appears. The Pro Crew responds with their usual mix of playful and unhelpful answers. Reader feedback continues, with some asking for a Football Manager game on the N64, and others complaining about free guides. The Pro Crew responds cryptically about football games, and defends the guides with a reader survey. The Reader's Gallery features artwork, including future console visions, Zelda characters, and unique character designs. A significant section promotes back issues, including those with Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Turok 2, and others, at a low price with bonus guides. Limited copies are available. This page dives into the readers' reviews, asking what you think of your games. It's where the readers get to tell the magazine crew if they know their stuff. Rapong. We've got a fantastic selection of N64 greats, reviewed by the people who actually played them. There's Banjo-Kazooie, getting loads of love for its huge world and putting up a fight against the likes of Zelda and Mario. Then we have F1 World Grand Prix, praised for its realism and smooth handling, showing you don't need to bother with other consoles for a proper racing sim. Star Wars. Rogue Squadron is called a classic with brilliant visuals and sound, pretty much a must-buy if you're into flying fast things in space. GoldenEye 007 naturally gets high marks, especially for that legendary multiplayer where you can apparently just walk up to someone and, shoot them in the privates. Quite. Finally, ISS-64 wraps it up, described as the finest football game, with great graphics and gameplay, and a fun feature allowing you to edit player names. Seems the readers agree these are some absolute belters. Reader reviews for N64 games are featured. South Park 64 is praised for its humor, though some found the single-player repetitive. Turok 2, Seeds of Evil received high praise for its graphics, sound, and multiplayer, with some calling it superior to GoldenEye. WWF Warzone was deemed the best-looking and sounding wrestling game, with readers appreciating its realism, graphics, and multiplayer options, particularly the Royal Rumble. Readers are encouraged to submit their own reviews for a chance at prizes. This review focuses on Game Boy Color games, skipping potential N64 handheld coverage. The Smurfs Nightmare receives praise for its graphics, while Game & Watch Gallery 2 is criticized. The Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening DX is lauded as a must-own, and Wario 2 is called a classic. Bugs Bunny and Lola Bunny is a strong platformer, and Conker's Pocket Tales promises substantial gameplay. The review also mentions a vibrating Game Boy Color cartridge, and upcoming Barbie, Ocean Discovery. This page is the N64 Pro database, serving as a buyer's guide to help you navigate the console's vast library. The intro promises stacks of info on every game, sorted into groups so you can easily spot the rock-solid titles. They even explain how the scoring system works, going from 0 to 100, and introduce the Sore Thumb Award for the absolute finest games. This section focuses specifically on shooting games. You've got everything from Doom 64 and Duke Nukem, offering decent classic blasting, to the real heavy hitters. GoldenEye 007 is rightly praised as the best first-person shooter ever, earning a whopping 96%. Other top scores go to Forsaken, Body Harvest, Lilac Wars, South Park 64, described as Turok 2 with Turkey's classic, Star Wars, Rogue Squadron and Turok 2, Seeds of Evil, all bagging Sore Thumb Awards and high praise for graphics and gameplay. Not every game's a winner though. Aero Fighters Assault and Knife Edge don't exactly impress. There's even a nod to Turok with a picture and a speech bubble asking about Rex. Finally, we get to the Hall of Fame, showcasing the magazine's all-time top 10. Zelda claims the #1 spot with a massive 98%, with classics like IS-98, GoldenEye, and Banjo-Kazooie following close behind, proving the N64 had some absolute corkers. The Nintendo 64's racing games are reviewed, highlighting classics like Mario Kart 64 91% and Diddy Kong Racing 91%. F1 World Grand Prix 94% excels in realistic simulation, while Wave Race 91% offers unique jet ski action. F-Zero X 90% and Wipeout 92% are futuristic races, and 1080 Snowboarding 93% adds a snowy twist. Micro Machines Turbo 64 90% is praised for multiplayer. However, some titles like Cruisin' USA and GT64 receive negative reviews. Other races like Extreme G, Top Gear Overdrive, and San Francisco Rush are commended for variety. The fighting games section concludes with a mixed bag, Mortal Kombat 4, 85%, faring better than Mortal Kombat Mythologies, 28%. Overall, the N64 boasts strong racers, but sticking to proven champions is advised. This page continues the buyer's guide, wading through some frankly awful fighting games like the truly dismal Clay Fighter and the utter mess that is War Gods. Seriously, dreadful stuff that shouldn't have seen the light of day. Following on from the previous page, Mortal Kombat 4 scraped a decent score, while Mythologies remains as bad as we remembered. Thankfully, there are some gems like the solid Fighter's Destiny and the brilliant new entry Smash Brothers. Moving on to the puzzle section, Weetrix is a fantastic splashy puzzler and a well-deserved sore thumb winner, and you can't go wrong with the popping fun of the Buster Move sequels. Tetrasphere offers a spherical twist, and Virtual Chess is, well, chess. Then we hit the platform games, and this is where the N64 truly shines. Banjo-Kazooie is a masterpiece of the genre, absolute genius, and another sore thumb winner. Space Station. Silicon Valley is wonderfully bizarre and gets a big thumbs up too. Bomberman tried his hand at 3D platforming with mixed results, while Castlevania makes a welcome return with a creepy atmosphere. Even Chameleon Twist is a decent bit of fun. And look who it is. Old Link pops up, probably hinting at some absolute classic just around the corner. This page dives headfirst back into the buyer's guide, kicking off with that slightly unnerving chap Mr. Whippy on the left. The bulk of the content here leans heavily into the world of sports, though we do sneak in some other gems. On the platform front, you've got the quirky Gex making an appearance, and the wonderfully weird Mischief Makers getting a solid score. Up top, Super Mario 64 is rightly hailed as one of the greats, and Yoshi's Story looks utterly gorgeous in 2D, proving the N64 could do more than just polygons. Both are sore thumb winners, obviously. The sports section is packed. FIFA 99 and the ISS series dominate the football reviews, with IS 98 standing out as a true highlight and a sore thumb winner. They reckon it's one of the best footy games ever. Madden 98 and 99 show American football is well represented, and also pick up sore thumb gongs. Basketball gets a look in with Kobe Bryant, NBA Hangtime, and NBA Jam 99, offering various takes on the sport, though poor old NBA Pro 98 doesn't fare so well, looking a bit fuzzy apparently. Baseball and tennis games like All-Star Baseball, another sore thumb winner, and All-Star Tennis round out the sporting goodness, showing a broad range of options for sports fans. Even the Winter and Olympic hockey games get a decent nod. It's clear there was plenty of sporting action to be had on the N64. This buyer's guide section covers various Nintendo 64 games, sports titles like NHL Breakaway, and wrestling games like WCW vs. N-Nolsa are highlighted. Zelda 64. Ocarina of Time receives a near-perfect score praised as the best game ever. Other notable titles include Pilotwings, 64, Blast Corps, and Mario Party. The import section features a mixed bag of Japanese games, with varying scores, potentially hampered by language barriers. Rampage World Tour, however, is a significant disappointment. This page is giving us a tantalizing glimpse of what's waiting just around the corner, and frankly, it looks brilliant. Next month, get ready for a huge South Park guide, promising maps and the lot. Whoa dude, indeed. We're also bracing ourselves for the sheer force of nature that is Quake 2, coming soon. There's a blueprint feature digging into 12 Tales, Conquer 64, still polishing, or perhaps just having a bit of a nap before its big debut. We'll find out. The team's off to the Tokyo Game Show to bring us the very best, and the Cheat Zone is dishing out a massive guide for Wipeout. Down below, the editorial crew is all listed out, keeping this fine publication ticking. Over on the right, it's a big shout for the Special Reserve Club, offering magazines, cheats, and discounts on games and kit. Looks like a solid way to save a few quid on your N64 needs, and you can even get some freebies thrown in for joining up. Decent stuff if you're looking to expand your collection,